Right, right, okay, guys. And back.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Right. Uh, so today we are going to continue our discussion, right? So I hope everyone know that training situation and wondering what I think. So we explain about science, right? Okay. So now today what we are going to do, we are going to continue fourth lesson, introduction to account. So when it comes to our last week, I told you in here we discussed about how to maintain accounts in four strategy. It is most of the time a trading business, buying and selling, buying final goods and adding margin. So we call this type of business actually like it's similar to a service providing as well, right? Then in here I told you uh, we discussed uh, about an accounting period, right? I'll explain it again. Here we are discussing about accounting period, right? So normally we do the accounting. Still we didn't discuss. I'll tell it. You know the definition of accounting. Accounting is the process of providing information to stakeholders for their decision making. Understand, right? Accounting is the process of providing information to stakeholders for their decision making, right? So now in here, this is the last week definition. Accounting is the process of providing information to stakeholders for their decision making. Concerning this, I finished about the first one. What is the process? You know, there is input, and we can identify a process, and there is output in accounting process. Then, then we discussed last week at the end what is the term called accounting, right? You know, we can identify two types of accounting. You can remember financial accounting, and the other one is what? Management accounting. In here, we only discussed about which type of accounting? Financial accounting, which means disclosing the information to stakeholders, every stakeholder. Am I clear to that? Right? But when it comes to other type, means management accounting, it is for the internal purposes, not using information, not giving, not disclosing management accounting, not disclosing information to stakeholders, which means the other parties. Easy, clear to you guys, right? Okay. Then number three in the definition, are you there? Turn on the videos and wait. In the definition, as number three, you can identify providing information to stakeholders. Now, I'm not going to discuss about providing information to stakeholders, because in here, you know who are stakeholders, right? Okay, providing information to stakeholders, right? Three and both are four. Uh, right. Okay. So providing information, I think I gave this four, three, and this is four. Am I correct? This four or five. Can you check and tell me? Last week, no. This is four, right? Yanula, is it correct? No. Yes, Arvind. This is three and this is four. Am I correct? Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. Then providing information to stakeholders, we know who are stakeholders and their objectives, right? So we know about what are who are stakeholders and what are their information requirements. We discussed this one in the first lesson. Can you remember, right? So I'm not going to discuss. And the other one for their decision making. So they do different decision making concerning the financial statements of the business. Understand, right? So this is the term down. We don't need third and fourth. First and two is enough. So you know who are stakeholders and what are their decisions. Understood? So you know we discussed about this one in the first lesson. Am I clear to you guys? Right? Okay. Online, stay with the video. Then before moving to that, let's come to the textbook. This is the definition. We discuss about financial accounting, right? Okay. So then let's move to the objectives and need of account, right? So in here, we are discussing about financial information. What is the business accounting objective and the need of accounting? I told you in here, we separate owner from the business. Can you remember? Is the term called accounting entity concept. Understood? Means accounting entity concept means, most of the time, owner and every time, owner and business are two separate parties in account here. But when it comes to legal perspective, I told you, since this is a sole proprietorship, owner and business are not two separate parties. In the presence of law, they concern owner and business are the same person here. But in accounting, we differentiate, right? Before moving to other part, let's write something, uh, then write the other heading, like small heading, accounting period. Accounting period. Accounting period. Okay. So don't write, just listen. Uh, Businesses disclose, right? Accounting output, accounting output, okay? Uh, which means accounting output, financial statements. I showed, I showed last week the financial statements in here, right? Financial statements concerning 12 months, which means in here 12 months, right? Most of the time the accounting period is 12 months, but if the business needs, they uh, can prepare monthly or any concern period of time counts. It's not a the legal requirement mostly for 12 months here, but if they need, they can pay a monthly or 2 months, 3 months, understand, annually, biannually, anyhow. So in corporate sector, listen to this carefully, and the let's take public sector, public and banking sector. So I told you their accounting period begins on in two things, right? In Sri Lanka, most of the time we prepare accounts like this, right? Right. So in corporate sector, which means the public sector, sorry, private sector, You know, 12 months means begins on January 1st. Sorry, corporate. Now let's first discuss about public sector, banking sector, right? So their 12-month means begins on, let's take 2024 year, right? January 1st and ends on 31st December 2024. But when it comes to corporate sector, private sector, accounting period begins on 1st of April. Then ends on 31st March 2024. 5, which we call this one as 2024-25 accounting period. Am I clear to you? Right? දැන් මේගොල්ලෝ යන්නේ දැන් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඔය ඔක්කොම private sector businesses accounts හදන්නේ අප්‍රේල් ඔයාගේ බර්ත්ඩේ එක දවසේ මෝඩයාගේ දවසේ ඉඳන් right ඊළඟ අවුරුද්දේ 3/31 වෙනකම් මං කියන එක තේරෙනවද? හැබැයි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් public sector එක banking sector එක accounts හදන්නේ January 1st ඉඳන් December 31st වෙනකම්. In O levels we discuss about preparing accounts in this January 1st to December 30th, right? But in second paper, first question, they are giving you information in accounting for 1 month, month period of time, clear? Which means begins on, let's take 2024 January 1st and ends on January 31st, clear? Even we can prepare accounts for 1 month as well. Am I clear? Okay, guys, right? But normally, we can identify accounts in 12 months, which means, right? So this is 12 months. This is also 12 months. So I'll show you after this about some financial statements. Okay, quickly write it and raise your hands. Write the heading accounting period for your reference. Accounting period, right? Then write this. Better if you can turn on the videos. Others, so many messages. I think most of you guys are having raining now. අන්තෙන් නිසා කට්ටිය පොඩ්ඩක් ඩාම් වෙලා ඩුම් වෙලා ඉන්නේ ඩේටා නේ. නේද? ෆිල්ම් බලලා ගේම් ගහලා. If there's any concern, let me know. I'm waiting for your response. I think Imanta is so far from the laptop for the PC. Imanta, am I audible? Right. Others, Senudi, Hussein, Jenut, Jasasi, Juan, Jumit, Ketu, Isha, Deva.
So I failed to read it.
Yeah, I saw. Seneth me, Dilna, Gihansa, Abdul. And you promised me to sing today, Juan.
සර් ටුවන් විතරද මේ අබ්දුල්ට ගිය සතියේදී යන සින්දුව කිව්වනේ.
ඔව් අබ්දුල්ලාගේ රෙකෝඩින් එකක් තියෙනවා මම පෙන්නන්න.
පෙන්වන්න අනිවාර්යෙන් සර්.
එයා සින්දුවක් ලියලා යාම රෙකෝඩ් කළේ. තිබ්බම. Right. Okay. So once you finish it, raise your hands. Quickly write it and raise your hands. Once you finish, make sure to raise your hands. But make sure now in here we don't discuss about public sector businesses, right? Understood? So we discuss about sole proprietorship trading businesses. Which means buying and selling businesses. They are private sector business. So actually, they should prepare accounts in this accounting period. But in here, we concern about this accounting period, right? Properly maintain your accounts notes. Sorry, because you should upload it from last week onwards. Everything in near future. Done. Avindya Chenut, then Yasasi, Misha, Devangi, Gihansa, Senudi, Abdul. I think done, right? All done.
No, sir.
Hurry up.
Take your time.
Yes. What is the matter? Any concerns? Done, right? Okay, if you need more time, let me know. Shall I move to the other part? Yeah,
Sir,
yeah. Can,
steady writing.
can you take a screenshot and write it later?
Okay, sir.
සර් ෆස්ට් ටර්ම් එකේ දෙන්නේ පළවෙනි පාඩම් හතරද?
No.
ෆස්ට් ටර්ම් එකේ දෙන්නේ පළවෙනි පාඩම් හතරද?
Scholar.
yes sir.
පළවෙනි පාඩම් තුන. Right? Okay, done, right? Then now let's find out. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now tell me before moving to other part. So I'm going to show you something, right? So this is regarding the accounting period, right? What is the business called Ceylon Cold Store? Anyone idea about the business name is Ceylon Cold Store. Ice cream kanal.
Coal? Who calls and all the other stuff? Who calls and all other stuff?
No. Ceylon Cold Store.
ඒ vehicle insurance company එකක්ද sir?
මොනා කරන්නේ?
Elephant house ice cream.
අන්න
තේරෙන්නේ
හරි. Elephant House. The brand name is Elephant House. අක්ගාලා Google
As
එකේ
a
ගහලා
window as a number one calvin.
අක්ගාලා Google එකේ ගහලා බලලා කියනවා. So Ceylon's Cold Store, they are the one who prepare Elephant House, right? So the business is Ceylon's Cold Store. Under a business we can register different brand names. See? Now think about CBL, right? So under CBL they are having different brand names: lemon puff, chocolate puff, Munchie Pome, right? So likewise, Munchie is coming under CBL. Munchie is the brand name. Understand? CBL is the business. Understood? So likewise, uh, you know, Ceylon Costo is the business. It is a company, not a sole proprietorship. So in here we discuss about sole proprietorship, but I'm going to show you, right? Once you type Ceylon Costo in here, you can find out their website. Understand? So this is their website. EGB natuwa kama epane, right? So this is
කොච්චර
their
අහලා තියෙන්නේ කොච්චර අහලා
right. Okay, so this is their website. So what I want to tell you, most of the time under investor relations, so under financial reports we can find their accounts here. Now when it comes to companies, it is a legal requirements to prepare accounts. Understand? And now most of the time when it comes to incorporated companies, it is a legal requirement to prepare accounts. But in here we discuss about sole proprietorship. මේක වෙනයි ඒක වෙනයි. ඒක තේරුම් ගන්න. Sole proprietorship වල අනිවාර්ය නැහැ. හැබැයි company වල අනිවාර්ය. Right? Just give me 1 minute. I'll be back. So in financial reports, you can find their financial. Just give me 1 minute. Right? I'm audible? Right?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
sir.
Training here. Okay. Now and heavily thundering. Right? Okay. Now under financial reports in here, we can find their financial statements, right? So when we go down, you can find. So annual report 2022-23 means Accounting period begins on 2022 April 1st, ends on 2023 March 31st. Clear? දැන් මෙහෙම තිබ්බොත් confuse වෙන්න බෑ. corporate sector එකේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට යන්නේ රුහිතට. ජනවරි to December නෙමෙයි, right? April to March. Now, once we download it, you can find their finance statements. Most of the time, it's like a huge report. This is the output financial statements. In here, we can find 252 pages. Here, so many things in here. So there are content. You can find in here statement of financial position and income statement, P&L statement. In O levels, we discuss only about two in a sole proprietorship. But when it comes to account companies, there are 5 types of financial reports. Clear, right? So we don't discuss in detail in O levels. So if you in a company under financial reports or investor relations.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I'm having a power cut. Can I move out?
Yeah, sure. You can refer the record. Right?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So under investor relations, so under financial reports, you can find the here, which means the financial statements. Am I clear to you? Right? So this is the thing I want to tell you. Is it clear to you guys? Now don't think much about that one. And the other part, I told you, now there are two YouTube channels of mine. This is the previous one, Heshan Commerce, right? You can subscribe it. And there are some accounting related things also. Now in my new channel is Niwasa Commerce Heshan. Yeah. So this is also, now I'm uploading now videos to here. Yeah. So you can refer, but most of the videos are unlisted. You can't see it because they are giving through your LMS, right? But I'm public, mentioning it as public, like only 1 or 2 videos, right? You can just subscribe it because I'm going to upload many things. And the other thing, most of the time, next month, first week or second week, I mean next month, first week or second week, I'm going to conduct a free seminar, which means for 2 hours, giving a background idea about accounting for every student. Yeah, for new students and everyone, I'm going to conduct a seminar containing accounting basics, which means double entries and what is the thing here. So I'll tell the more details to you. Right. Then let's move to the next part: objectives and needs of accounting. As mentioned above, accounting is need to provide useful information to interested parties of a business for their decision making. You know why we do the accounting? To give information to stakeholders for their decision making, right? So further, the business activities also impact various other parties. All these parties, including owners and debt holders, are named as interested parties in stakeholders of a business. Owners, debt holders, investors, customers, suppliers, employees, and the government are usually considered as key interested parties among other parties. Each party takes decision in various nature, and for that they require information. Accordingly, accounting providing information for decision making. The main objective of accounting, which means what is the, now you know the definition of accounting: process of providing information to stakeholders for their decision. Understand the definition, which means what is the accounting, and under definition we can identify under accounting what is the main objective of accounting. Providing information for decision making is the main objective. Understood, right? What is the main objective? Providing information to providing information for decision making. Am I clear to you guys? Right? The main objective is providing information to decision making. What is the accounting definition? Process of providing information to stakeholders for their decision. Is it clear to you guys? Right? Okay. Then based on this main objective, there are various other objectives. A few of such objectives are given below. To know whether the business has earned an adequate profit. Now, the main objective is providing information to providing information for the decision making, right? So, what are sub-objectives? Not only that, there are sub-objective of accounting. Listen to this carefully. This part is very much important. To know whether the business has earned an adequate profit, we need to know the business has earned an adequate profit. Without the profit, we can't survive. Why we need profit? First one, to give a return for the owners. We need to give return to the owners. Understand? And also, to expand the business, we need profit. කියන්නේ business එක ප්‍රසාරණය කරන්න අලුතින් දේවල් acquire කරන්න අපිට profit එකක් තියෙනවා. ඒ වගේම තමයි to run the day to day operations, give salary, to pay rent, everything we need profit. Is it clear to you? For those three requirements, we need a profit, which is the return. To know whether the financial portion of the business is sound. What is the term called financial portion of the business is sound? Now you know.
No crashes, no nothing going smoothly.
Sorry?
No crashes, no nothing going smoothly.
Yeah. So for an example, I'll tell you like this. Now think, now we are moving to accounting path, turn on the videos and wait. First one, assets means simply something belongs to the business, something owned by the business. Am I clear to you guys? Asset means what? Something which owned by the business. දැන් මේ ෆෝන් එක මගේ asset එකක්. මට තේරෙනවා right? මගේ කණ්ණාඩි දෙක මගේ asset එකක්. මේක මගේ asset එකක් නෙවෙයි මේක ඉන්ස්ටිටියුට් මගේ තේරෙනවා right? So then liabilities means what? Payables of you. Liability means what? Your payables. දැන් ඔයා යාළුවෙක්ගෙන් ණයක් ගත්තා නම් 20ක්. ඒ 20 ඔයාගේ liability එකක් ගෙවන. මගේ තේරෙනවා. Think about a business. If any business purchase something on credit basis, till they pay back, it is a liability of the business. Here, ගෙවනකම් liability එක. Right? ඒ වගේ අර මේ liability තියෙනවා. liability කියන්නේ ගෙවණේ. Third one is equity. So I'm going to discuss today three accounting elements. Asset, simply asset means what? Something from the business perspective, something belongs to the business, owned by the business. Liabilities means payable. In the payable in near future. ණයක් අරගෙන තියාගෙන දිනවා පස්සේ තමයි ගෙවන්නේ. මං කියන එක තේරෙනවද නම? Right? Third one, equity. You know this carefully. Equity means ownership of the owner. Now we have a separate accounting element for owner. We call it as what? Equity. Understood? Equity for the owner. Now think, in our business, right? We have 1,000 assets. 1,000 assets. ඒ කියන්නේ රුපියල් 1000ක දේවල් තියෙනවා business එකට අයිති. දැන් ගන්න business එක කියන පණ නැති පුද්ගලයෙක් මං කියනවා business එකට දේවල් ඉබේ පහළ වෙනවා. දෙයියෝ ගෙනල්ලා දානවා. අහසින් කඩාගෙන පාත් වෙනවා. නෑ නේද? කවුරුත් දෙයියෝ ගෙනල්ලා දාන්නේ නෑ. අහසින් කඩාගෙන පාත් වෙන්නේ නෑ. business එකේ තියෙන දේවල් ගන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රම තුනයි තියෙන්නේ. එක්කෝ ඕන free of charge කියලා business එකට කියලා ගෙනල්ලා දාන්න. දැන් business එකක් පටන් ගත්තේ කවුරුත් සල්ලි දෙන්නේ නැහැනේ බැංක් එකෙන් loan එකක්වත් දෙන්නේ නැහැ. මුලින්ම ඕන free of charge ඕනගේ ඕන විසින් එයා business දේවල් ගෙනල්ලා දෙන්න ඕනේ. මං කියන එක right right. ඒ වගේම ටික කාලයක් ගියාම අපිට credit based දේවල් ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ කියන්නේ bank loan එකක් ගන්න පුළුවන්. right. ඊට පස්සේ එහෙම නැත්නම් අපිට පුළුවන් credit basis goods ගන්න. ඒ වගේ අපිට credit basis දේවල් liabilities පස්සේ මං කියන්නේ ඒ වගේම පුළුවන් business එකට ටිකක් සල්ලි තියෙද්දි දේවල් සල්ලි දීලා ගන්න. cash basis we can purchase. Is it clear? Right? So likewise we can purchase in three natures. Understood? From the business will receive things from three perspectives. First from the owner, right? Then purchasing something on cash basis and purchasing something on credit basis. Is it clear to you guys? Right? Think there are 1,000 worth of things, right? This 1,000, out of this 1,000, 600 from the liabilities. Again, ණයට ගත්ත දැන් bank loan එකක් දැන් ටික ටික accounts වලට යන්නේ පොඩ පොඩ තේරුම් ගන්න. right? bank loan එකක් ගත්තොත් business එකට මොනවද දෙන්නේ? cash. What business receive? cash. Is it clear to you guys? Right? And also, since we obtain a bank loan, there is a liability of the business. Cash is an asset. දැන් මම තමයි business. Right? මම ගන්න සෙනුක තමයි bank එක. Right? So සෙනුකගෙන් මම ගන්නවා business එකට 600 bank loan එකක්. මොකද්ද? Bank loan එක. Right? So සෙනුක මට bank loan එකට මොනවද දෙන්නේ සල්ලි? මගේ business. දැන් මම ඕන නෙමෙයි මම business. So business එක ඇතුළට cash in. සෙනුක දුන්නත් මම සෙනුකගේ කවුද ගෙදර වෙන කවුරු හරි දුන්නත් right සෙනුකගේ අල්ලපු ගෙදර එක්කෙනා දුන්නත් කවුරු දුන්නත් මට liability එකක් loan එකක් විදියට දෙන්න right හැබැයි සෙනුක මට cash දෙන්නේ cash දෙන්න නිසා business එක ඇතුළට cash එන right මොනවද දෙන්නේ cash කොහොම ආවත් when the business receive cash now the cash is belongs to the business understood cash is belongs to whom? Business. But there is a liability. Till I pay back Senuka's liability, it is a liability to the business. Understood? Easy clear? Right? Senuka සල්ලි දුන්නාම business එකේ cash asset එකක් වැඩි වෙනවා. සෙනුකට තියෙන business එකේ liability එකක් වැඩි වෙනවා. Easy clear you guys? Right? Okay. Then think
Yes.
owner invested something which means 400 to the business. Think owner gave 400 money to the business. දැන් මම තමයි business එක right අපි ගමු අයිතිකාරයා තමයි ඉමන්ත is the owner of the business understood I'm the business ඉමන්ත is the owner of this business clear ඉමන්ත පොඩ්ඩක් ඈතින් ඉන්නේ පේනවනේ නේද right okay then ඉමන්ත is the owner of the business right okay අර කිලෝමීටරයක් විතර එහා වගේ ඉන්නවා වගේ පේන්නේ right okay then now ඉමන්ත invested 400 rupees to the business but business get cash. Now cash is belongs to the business. So business cash asset increase 400. Then Imanta's ownership. There's a separate accounting element for owner. What is the element? Equity. Equity also increase how much? 400. Am I clear to you guys? Right? Now let's take about like this. Then business එකේ තියෙන ඔක්කොම 1000ක් තියෙනවා. 1000න් 600ක් ණයට අරන් තියෙන්නේ 400ක් කවුද දාලා තියෙන්නේ? Own. Right? Own. Now, to know whether the business financial position is sound, you know, asset equal liquidity plus liability. I'll tell you this one later because things belongs to the business. Okay, it owned by the owner or liability except if he purchase something from the cash base. Right? Something cash basis ගත්තේ නැත්තම් මේක වෙනස් වෙනවා මම පෙන්නන්න. මේ මංගේ මේ බිස්නස් එකේ දේවල් දෙන්නේ ක්‍රෙඩිට් බේසිස් උයි ඕනයි දුන්නේ right දැන් මේ බිස්නස් එකේ තත්ත්වය හොඳයිද කවුරු හරි කියන බාන වැඩි තත්ත්වය හොඳයිද නැහැ මොකද බිස්නස් එකේ අයිතිකාරයාගේ අයිතියට වඩා බිස්නස් එකේ liabilities වැඩි it is not a good situation okay Imanta own only 400 rupees but bank own which means Senuka own 600 rupees is it a good situation say like Senuka is having much power than the business owner. Okay? Now actually this should be like this. Equity should be 600, liability should be 400. Is it a good situation? Understood? But if the business liability is higher than the equity, is it a good situation? No. Right? So likewise, we need to know whether this is a good situation. How many assets have the business? So to know, but that's why we need accounting. Clear? To know whether the business financial position is sound. You will learn more things in near future. Is it clear to you up to now? Right? The second one is to know whether the business financial position is sound. The next one, to fulfill legal requirement. I told you, in sole proprietorship, there is no legal requirement to prepare accounts. But when it comes to companies, for an example, remember that Stallone calls to, right? It is a legal requirement to prepare the accounts, right? So because of that, that's why we need accounts. Presentation of financial reports is a mandatory requirement by law for some organization. Here, for some organization, it is a legal requirement, right? To prepare accounts. That's why we need accounts. To minimize disadvantage arising through omission and commission of transactions to organize financial activities. Now you know. දැන් දේවල් වලට මගේ ඇරෙනවා. දැන් හිතන්න මම ගන්නවා ගිහන්සගෙන් බිස්නස් එකට 400,000 worth of goods on credit basis. Easy creative guys. Gihansa giving 400,000 worth of goods on credit basis. Gihansat කට්ට නෑ. දෙද්දිම කියනවා ඔබට දවස් 10යි දෙන්නේ. දවස් 10 පැන්නොත් එහෙම මම penalty charge කරනවා. මං කියදෙනවා. Right? So if I will give you only 10 days, but if you exceed 10 days, you need to pay 50% penalty. දැන් මමත් ඉතින් වැඩ වැඩි නේ ක්ලාස් උත් කරනවා අකවුන්ට්ස් උත් හදනවා පිස්සු වැඩිලා ඉන්නේ මටත් දැන් වෙලාවක් නැහැ මට අමතක වෙනවා ගිහන්සර දවස් 10ක තුරද කියලා. So I need to bear another additional cost. Understood? So I'm legally bounded to pay within 10 days. Clear? So it is a disadvantage to the business. Is it clear to you guys? Right? And also when the business expands, owner cannot do everything. So we hire employees. Right? So employees are like, they are not, at least they are not much honest. Understood? They are always try to do some fraudulent things. Right? So because of that, දැන් අපි example එකකට ගමු මම ගන්නම් අරවින්ද අන්න මම ගන්නවා business employee කෙනෙක්. අරවින්ද ඉන්නවා අපේ business අවින්ද business එකේ employee කෙනෙක්. Right? අවින්දයා මම එහෙම නිකන් I'm not insulting, just think, right? අවින්දයා මොකද කරන්නේ කවුරුත් නැතිලා ඒ ලාච්චුවට අත දාලා රුපියල් 5000ක් අරන් ගෙදර යනවා. right? හරිද? නෑ එහෙම නෑ මම නිකන් කිව්වේ, right?
Wow, sir. Nice. Mission Impossible.
No, just imagine, no, it's not that.
නෑ ඒක අවුලක් නෑ.
අවුලක් නෑ සාද කාලේ වෙන දේවල්.
අවින්දයා අරගෙන යනවා කවුරුත් නැතිලා ලාච්චුවට අත දාලා 5000ක් අරන් යනවා. දැන් ඕක බිස්නස් එකේ CCTVත් අපි බලන්නේ නැත්තම්, right? කොහොමද දැනගත්තේ අවින්ද 5000ක් උස්සන් ගියා කියලා? දැනගන්න වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අවින්දත් ගෙද ගිහලා හූ මම 5000ක් අරන් ගියා ඔයා දන්නේ නැහැ. ඉන්නවා, right? දැන් ඕක දැනගන්න පුළුවන් if we maintain accounts in a proper manner. Understood? So if the book balance, ledger balance are not equal, like now we write everything. Okay, the closing balance equal to the physical balance. Clear? So if not, there should be some fraudulent thing. Clear? So we can catch it. Understood? Now I told you, normally I prepare my own accounts. I prepare a cash book. I'll tell you what is the term of cash book. At the end of the month, the balance available in my purse should equal to my book balance. Clear? Right? If yes, means I know every transaction. Clear? Right? So that's
ඒක එම්ප්ලොයි කෙනෙක් නම් ඉන්න බිස්නස් එකේ ඉතින් හොයාගන්න පුළුවන්.
ඒ වුණාට එයා කිව්වොත් මං ගත්තේ නැහැ කියලා කවුද දන්නේ හිම වැටිලාද කියලා කොයි හරි අපි සල්ලි ගණන් කරද්දි හුලගේ ගහගෙන ඒකේව වෙන්න අපිට දැනගන්න පුළුවන්
මොනවා මේ කරන්
හුලගේ ගහගෙන ගියා කියලා ඉතින් අරවින්ද අරන් right? Okay, so to minimize the disadvantages arising through emission and commission of transaction and to organize financial activities, these are the sub objectives. Are you okay up to here, guys? Right? What is the main objective? What is the main objective of accounting? To provide information for decision making, right? To provide information for decision making. So what are the sub objectives? To know whether the business has earned an adequate profit, to know whether the financial portion of the business account fulfill legal requirement, to minimize disadvantage arising through omission and commission of transaction. Then මම තව එක උදාහරණයක් කියන්නම්. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් there is a separate place called petty cash. There is a separate person called petty cashier. What is the name? Petty cashier. Right? Who is a petty cashier? You know?
So he checks about the small amounts of money.
Yeah, very good. So we a business petty cashier to do the petty cash payments, right? Which means now business place එකේ සල්ලි දෙන්න එපා හදිස්සියකටනේ. දැන් හිතන්න business එකේ first business එකේ සත පහක් නැහැ. හදිස්සියේ business එකට එනවා කවුරු හරි හිතන්න ජනාධිපති එනවා. ඌට බීම් එකක් දෙන්න. ඌට බීම් එකක් දෙන්න සල්ලි නැහැ. කොහොමද දෙන්නේ? ඌලා ගිහලා ATM එකෙන් අරන් එන්නේ නැහැ. ඔය කරන්න බෑ. දැන් business එකේ මොනවා හරි සල්ලි දෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ සල්ලි business එකේ සල්ලි තියාගෙන ඉන්න කෙනාට තමයි අපි කියන්නේ petty cashier. We need a petty cashier. We need to monitor every time petty cashier. Yes.
ජනාධිපතිතුමාට ඇත්තටම බීම් එකක් දුන්නත් හරියයිද?
Yeah. ඔන්න
ජනාධිපතිතුමාට බීම එකක් දුන්නොත් ඒක හරියයිද?
හරිය උට බීම නෙමෙයි දෙන්න ඕන වෙන ප්‍රශ්න.
බීම එකක් දීලා දුන්නට පස්සේ මේ සීනි වැඩි වෙලා මැරෙන තත්ත්වක ඒ මිනිස්සයා ඉන්නේ.
මම මගේ නාවනම් වැඩිපුර සීනි දාලා රත් වෙන්නම තේකක් දාලා උණුවට උණුවේ හදලා දෙනවා දීපක මකට බි. රයිට්. මොනවාද? එතකොට මේ මොනවාද? සාමාන්‍ය පෙටි කැෂියර් හැමතිස්සෙම මොනිටර් කරන්න ඕනේ. මොකද උගේ අතේ තමයි වැඩිපුර සල්ලි තියෙන්නේ. උට පුළුවන් ඕන වෙලා දැන් උට ගෙදරට කන්න මොන හරි රැට අරන් නැත්නම් ඌ සමහරට ඒකෙන් සල්ලි තාලා අරගෙන යන්නේ. මං කියදෙන්න රයිට්. මං කියනනම් එක එක වැඩ කරනවා. මම එක එක්සැම්පල් එකක් කියන මං කිව්වද ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එකේ කතන්දරය අර බැංක් එකේ එක්කෙනෙක් අර ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එක හොරගම් කරා කියලා මං කිව්වද කතන්දරේ? කිව්වද? කිව්වේ නෑ. Right? So I'm not going to tell the business name. I'm not going to tell the bank's name. So like this is before like 3-4 years, right? Not for 3 or 4 years, right? This is the actual scenario.
What is the corona time?
Huh?
Corona කාලේද මේක උනේ නෑ.
Yeah?
කොරෝනා කාලේද උනේ නෑ.
නෑ ඊට කලින් කොරෝනා වලටත් කලින්. right? මේක මේ ලංකාවේ එක බැංකුවක් තිබ්බා. මේක හොඳට අහගන්න මේක වැදගත්. ලංකාවේ එක බැංකුවක් තියෙනවා තාමත් තියෙනවා. ඒ බැංකුවේ මේ පොඩි සිද්ධියක් වුණා. මේක ඇත්තම සිද්ධියක් මම කියන හැමෝම වීඩියෝ ඔන් කරගම් බලන්නකෝ කට්ටිය. දැන් මෙන්න මෙහෙමයි කතන්දරේ. ලංකාවේ එක බැංකුවක මේ දැන් හිටියා දැන් බැංකුවේ අර ඕගොල්ලෝ දැකලා තියෙනවනේ බැංකුවේ කවුන්ටර්ස් තියෙනවනේ. සාමාන්‍ය කවුන්ටර් එකට ගිහලා ඔයාලට සල්ලි දාන්න සල්ලි ගන්න පුළුවන්. දැන් එක දවසක මේ වයසක මිනිස්සේ ඇවිල්ලා කියනවා මේ කවුන්ටර් එකට ඇවිල්ලා පොතක් පෙන්න මේ මගේ මේකේ 7.25ක් ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එක අඩුයි මේ මාසේ. 7.25ක් මගේ account එකේ ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එක අඩුයි කියලා. මං හිතන්නේ. එතකොට දැන් මිනිස්සු ඔක්කොම hina වෙනවා මේ ගෑනිට පිස්සුද මන්ද 7.25ට මරෙන්න හදන්නේ අද කාලේ 7.25න් රුපියක්වත් ගන්න බෑ කියලා දැන් මේ එතන හැමෝම hina වෙවි යාට පිළු කර කර ඉන්නවා. මං හිතේනවා කවුන්ටර් ඉන්න එක්කෙනත් ගණන් ගත්තේ නැහැ. දැන් most of the time in each and every business organization there is a separate person called internal auditor. What is the name? Internal auditor. He every day he monitor the business activities. එයා තමයි like අර external auditor වගේම දැන් අර මම auditor කියන්නේ කවුද කියලා ඔයාලට කලින් කිව්වා. external auditor
ඉස්කෝලේට කලාපෙන් එනවා වගේ තමයි.
ඒ මොනවාද internal auditor කියලා සමහර ඉන්නවා. ඒ කලාප එක්කෙනා නෙවෙයි ඉස්කෝලේ ඇතුලේ ඉන්න විනය බාර එක්කෙනා වගේ. එයා තමයි ඉස්කෝලේ ඇතුලේ වෙන දේවල් බලන්නේ. මං කියන්නේ right. ඒ වගේ මේ internal auditor කියන්නේ එයා business එකේ salary එකට වැඩ කරන ඇතුලේ එක්කෙනෙක්. එයාට මේ සිද්ධිය ඇහෙනවා. ඉතින් අහුනට පස්සේ එයා මොකද කරන්නේ? පස්සේ කතා කරලා අහනවා මැඩම් මොකද්ද ප්‍රශ්නය? you customer is the king. mental උනත් නැතත් මැඩම් right customer is the king. මැඩම් මොකද්ද ප්‍රශ්නේ කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ අහනවා මේ 7.25ක් මගේ ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එක අඩුයි කියලා. ඊට පස්සේ මේ එයා ඒක අරගෙන ඇත්තටම බලනවා සිස්ටම් එක චෙක් කරලා 7.25ක් අඩුයි. මැඩම් ගෙදර යන්න මම මේක ඉන්ෆෝම් කරන්නම් මැඩම්ට බලලා කියලා කියනවා. පස්සේ එයා මොකද කරන්නේ? තව ලොකු IT knowledge එක තියෙන පිළිබඳ පිටින් එක්කෙනෙක් බිස්නස් එක ඇතුලෙන් එක්කෙනෙක් නේද පිටින් එක්කෙනෙක් එක්කන් වෙලා මේක බලනවා. බලන් ගියාම ඒ බැංකුවේ හැම කස්ටමර්ගෙම 7.25ක් අඩුයි ඉන්ට්‍රස්ට් එක. බලන් ගියාම සිස්ටම් එක හදපු කට්ටියකින් එකෙක් මොකද කරලා තියෙන්නේ? ඇතුලෙන් වෙන එකක් රන් කළා. ඒ බැංකුවේ ඉන්න හැමෝගෙම 7.25 කැපිලා එයාගේ account එකට වැටෙන්න හදාගෙන. අන්න මං කියන එක තේරෙනවද? right? ලංකාවේ ඉන්නවා නම් like more than 300,000 customers බැංකුවක ඉන්නවා like 1 million ඊට වඩා customers ඉන්නවනේ. අද ඉපදිච්ච ළමයාගේ ඉඳන් bank accounts එක සමහරවිට bank accounts 4-5ක් තියෙනවා. හැමෝගෙම 7.25 එකතු වෙලා එයාගේ account එක වැටෙනවම නිකන් passive income එකක් වෙනම එයාගේ salary එකක් එයාට salary එකක් වැටෙනවා. මං කියන තේරෙනවද? So like us employees are not good. They always try to do bad things. Clear? That's why we need the accounting. Clear? Right? So we need to know about the disadvantages of this. Not a good situation. So there was a huge court activities after that, right? So because of that, we need accounting, right? Then ඕක හරියට accounts හදන එක්කන හැදුවා නම් අර 725 හැමෝගෙම අඩු වෙන එක detect කරගන්න.
Sir, at last what happened, sir?
Last what happened, I don't know. I just know
So the chapter was in the middle.
right. I just know about the scenario. After that, I don't know. So their own internal thing. It is a like actual scenario in Sri Lanka, right? So in order to fulfill above objective, accounting provide various types of reports to the interested parties. These reports are generally termed as financial statements. I told you what is the output of the accounting? Financial statements, right? So these financial statements are based on business transaction. Okay. So this is the objectives and needs of accounting. Just wait, I'll send you the books, everything. Until that, make sure to purchase this one. This is the third time I'm showing you, right? From this next month onwards, I'm starting this. So make sure to purchase this, right? So then I'll include the TUT book in LMS like item shop in near future. Understood? Comprising from first lesson to 12th lesson every TUT here as a book. Okay. Uh, let's write something. Write the subtopic: objective and need of accounting. Objective and need of accounting. Objective and need of accounting. Right? So don't write, just listen. Okay. What is the term called accounting? You know, accounting is the process of providing information to stakeholders for their decision making. Okay. Then after that, දැන් ළමයි මේ මාසේ ඉඳන් මම වැඩිපුර homework දෙනවා. ඒතර කාලයක් ඕගලන්ට මම ලොකු homework දුන්නේ නැහැ. ගොඩක් අය කම්මැලි වැඩ කරන්න. Right? Main objective of account. Main objective account. What is the main objective of accounting? Providing information to stakeholders, right? Providing information, providing information for decision making, right? Providing information for decision, providing information for decision. So, what are the sub objectives? Sub objectives of account. Okay, we need to write in those parts in letter. As a summary, I'll tell you. You need to have like 6, 7, at least 7, 8 lines in here, right? එතකන් ඔඩිනල් ලියාගෙන අලුත් පිටුවක හරි කමන්නේ තව යටට රූල් 6 7ක් ඕනේ, right? ඔඩිනල් ලියාගෙන then I'll write the letter part. Yeah, Senuka, you can purchase the PDF, right? Contact me after the class. I'll tell you how to purchase. Right? I mean around 6:37 Sri Lankan time. Finish it and raise your hands. Ihansa, Imanta, Chinut, Misha, Smith. Once you finish, raise your hand. Right. Done, right? You met Misha. Have you finished? Now, what are the sub-objectives of accounting? Listen, don't write because I'm going to summarize in and write. First one, to know whether the business has earned an adequate profit. What is the term called profit? Just listen. Profit means, you can learn in later, income minus expenses. Income minus expenses. Okay. Number two, okay, to know whether the business has earned an adequate profit, to know whether the financial portion of the business is sound, to know whether the financial position of the business is sound. Financial portion means assets equal equity plus liability. Clear? Right? Okay. Third one, right? To fulfill fulfill legal requirements, right? To fulfill legal requirements, you know, for an example, let's write, uh, there is a legal requirement. There is a legal requirement to prepare and disclose accounts in incorporated companies. This is an example. For an example, I think you can remember Ceylon coal store. Number 4, to minimize disadvantage arising through omission and commission of transaction. To minimize disadvantages arising through omission and commission of transaction. Okay. So omission and commission means missing and like that. Okay. So once you finish, raise your hand. Just wait, I'm removing all your raised hands. Now once you finish, raise your hand. So once you finish writing, just raise your hand. So once you finish, raise your hands and stay with the video. I know sometimes you may having some matters. Try to stay with the video, right? Right. You meet Chenut, Tuan, Misha. Once you finish, raise your hands. Right. Okay. Hold on. Right. So after that, let's move. What is the term called business transactions? So okay, today let's finish up to here. Now, what I want to tell you guys, turn on the videos, listen to this careful. This is very much important. Next week is very much important because next week I'm starting the basics of accounting. Here, assets, equity, liability, and income. The whole like the syllabus, your 2 years inlays with these five. Understood? Clear, right? Asset, liability, equity, income, and expense. Because of that, first of all, you need to identify, right? So then after we finish this one, the fourth lesson also finish, and I'm taking one additional class also. Next week I'm finishing asset liability, then equity, and next date I'm going to start income and expenses. So what I want to tell you, I am going to take an additional class. Understand, right? Most of the time during O-level exam week, like starting on your next, I don't know whether you are from private sector or public sector school. Your holiday starting on 6th, am I correct? Okay guys, right?
Sir, from third.
Third means Friday, no? Then 4th and 5th is for holiday. 6 means Monday, right? So I'm going to include an additional class during this week. Clear, right? So anyone having matters, I don't know whether semi-government or private sector schools, you're having schools or not? I don't know.
Sir, I'm having school, sir.
You're having schools, right?
I have a school, sir.
Yeah, any other? Any other one? Having schools? Danish. Then raise your hands. No holidays. Two. Plus. One and Danish. Okay. So what I suggest, I can give you two options: join for the classes or refer the course. Those are the two options, right? Is it okay for you? Right? Okay, right? So, but you need to refer the recording because I'm going to do the recordings in income and expenses. So this part is very much important because most of you guys are don't know how to identify income and expenses. See? Okay, guys, right? So let's see what will happen. And okay, next part, business transactions. Okay, business transactions, right? Listen to this carefully, right? Now don't write, I'll tell you. Okay, just write the heading, business transactions, right? Write the heading, business transaction. Right. So business transactions. Okay, now don't write. This is the final part for today, and this is also very much important in your examination. What is the term called transaction, and what is the term called events? Why we identify transactions as common? Now, up to now, so far, what we have discussed, we discussed about accounting, right? Accounting is the process of providing information to stakeholders for their decision making. There, we can broadly divide accounting into financial accounting and management accounting. We discuss only about financial accounting, which means recording historic transactions and having monetary value, right? Likewise, many things. Then, we discuss about main objective, providing information for the decision making, and sub objectives. For sub objectives, you can remember to know whether the business has earned an adequate profit, know whether the business financial position is sound, understand, to fulfill legal requirements, then to minimize disadvantages arising through omission and commission. Easy, clear, you guys, right? Then after that, transaction. What is the term called transaction? Right? And what is the term called events? And what is the difference, right? කට්ටිය hina වෙන්නේ මොකද chat box එකේ මොන හරි දාලා දන්නෙත් නැහැ. ඇලිය මොනවද දාන්නේ? ඒ උන් එහෙම මරා ගන්නවා හිටපොම chat box. ඒ සමහරලාට උන් මං අර මෙහෙම අතුස්සන් ඉන්න screenshot ගහලා දානවා chat box. So disable. Okay. Don't do good, right? Okay. Then right.
මතක් කරවෙන්න කරලා බලන්න.
කරොත් එහෙම chat box එක කෙලින්ම close කරනවා. Right? Okay. Hari. Next one. Right. Now listen to this carefully. Don't write. I'll give enough time. Input. මොකද මම වෙනස් කරනවා පස්සේ වෙලා මේවා වුණා කලබලේ ලියන්න එපා ළමයි. වෙලාව දෙන වෙලාවෙ ලියන්න. Right. Hari. Now, in a process, you can write, find input, process, and output. And think about a bakery, you know the process, right? Munad again, piti ned, piti ginalla, tavagena munad yeast. Then I don't know,
Egg.
water. Then what is the process?
Chocolate.
Okay, anyhow. Then what is the process? Mixing ne ara මෙහෙමත් තරම් මෙහෙමත් අතුල්ලා ගන්නවා. දැකලා තියෙනවද නේ? එහෙම කරනවානේ. එහෙම කරලා ඊට පස්සේ පුච්චනවා නේද? ඊට සෙට් එකක් තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ අවුට්පුට් එක මොනවද? right? එතකොට මේ now in accounting input you can identify as transactions and the events. Okay, but commonly we consider both transaction and events as transaction, the common name. දෙක වෙන වෙනම අපි ඉගෙන ගත්තට දෙකටම අපි පොදුවේ කියන්නේ transactions කියලා. මොකද මෙතනින් එහාට ඔයාට events කියලා නමක් ඇහෙන්නේ නැහැ. මම කියන්නේ දෙන්න. Right? Okay. Commonly we name this as what? Transaction. Clear to you guys? Right? Is the input. So we can identify two types of transactions and events. We broadly classify into two: cash basis and the credit basis. Credit. Now this is about the input. Right? Now before moving to other one, so what is the term called transaction? Transaction. Okay. Now listen to this carefully. Transaction means Listen to this carefully. Resources exchange between the business and stakeholder. Understand? In transaction. ඒ මොකක්ද? දැන් හිතන්න owner invested 500,000 to the business. This basic. Owner invested what? 500,000 to the business. There is a resource exchange. ඒ කොහොමද? owner දැන් මම business එක owner තමයි අප්ලා. Right? So owner දානවා 500,000 business. Right? So I'm the business. Afla is the owner. Right? So Afla invested 500,000 to the business. What business get? Cash. What Afla get? Afla topiya deno. Not Afla de. Ownership of the business. What I give? Ownership. Understood? Right? So resources exchange between the business. Even Afla can take money from the business at any time. If Afla withdraw money from the business. Right? So I'm giving cash to Afla, right? Okay, which means the business, and also from the other part, Afla decreasing her ownership from the business. Afla's ownership decrease. Clear, right? So because of a transaction, resource exchange between the business and a stakeholder. Understand? Even owner is kind of a stakeholder. And because of that, accounting element change. I told you what are the accounting elements, right? Asset, equity, liability, income, and expenses. Next week lesson. Very, very important. Clear? Right? So what is the term called transaction? What is the term called transaction? It is an incident happened in the business, but not resource exchange, but accounting element change. For an example. I'll take Tuan. Okay, then Tuan correct වෙලා ඇවිල්ලා business එකේ උඩි වහලෙන් පැනලා right උඩින් ඇවිල්ලා මොකද කරන්නේ මේ තාච්චුවෙන් 12000ක් අරන් යනවා right හරි එතකොට මම business එකෙන් Tuan මොනවද අරන් යන්නේ සල්ලි right ඒතර Tuan මට මොනවද අනිත් පැත්තට වෙන මොන හරි වෙනවද Tuan මොකුත් business එකට දෙනවා it is an incident. Right? Don't do it to one, right? Okay. So
That is Mission Impossible saying Pfizer.
right. So it is an event. Then for another example, because of flood, our stocks damaged. මොනා හරි මේ ගම් වතුරක් ඇවිල්ලා business එකේ මොනා හරි කෑල්ලක් හරි මොනා හරි ගහන් යනවා business එකේ තියෙන බඩු මොනා. It is also an event because no any resource exchange. ගම් වතුරට business එකේ දේවල් අයින් නැති ගම් වතුර මට මොනවද දෙනවද? So it is an event. So likewise, debtors being bad debts. Who are debtors and who are creditors? I told, right? I think you can remember. There are two parties. I told you the difference. I told you you need to know clearly about stocks. Clear, right? The party who takes our goods on credit basis, we identify them as debtors. If the business first හැමතිස්සෙම මම business එක කියලා හිතන්න right මම business එක එතකොට business එකට හිතන්න මම කාගෙන්ද දානිෂ්ගෙන් stocks credit basis ගන්නවා so Danish is a creditor to my business liability till I pay back clear so we need to identify Danish because Danish giving those goods to my business to the business on credit basis. Okay, and what's it? Amavi. So I'm selling stocks to Amavi on credit basis. Okay, so Amavi is a debtor of our business because Amavi is taking our goods on credit basis. Amavi should take settle it late. So debtors being bad debt. දැන් හිතන්න මොකද්ද bad debts කියන්නේ? දැන් Amavi take stocks credit basis තරම් යන එක transaction එක. අමාවිට මම stocks දෙනවා. ඒ වගේම අමාවි ඒ stocks ගෙවනකම් ඒ credit basis තරම් ගේවා ගෙවනකම් අමාවි මගේ business එකේ asset එකක්. මං යාව දකින්න. මට පුළුවන් අමාවිට දැන් නැගිටපන්. දැන් වාඩි වෙලා right? රවුමක් කරගෙන නේද? රවුමක් දුවලෙන්න කියලා කියන්නේ right? So now the other part. දැන් අමාවි ටික කාලයක් ගිහිලා පිස්සු හැදෙනවා. නැත්නම් රටින් පැනලා යනවා. right? අමාවි හොයාගන්න නෑ රැවුල වාගෙන කැලේකට වෙලා ඉන්නේ. දැන්
රැවුල?
right නිකන් හිතන්නකෝ right රැවුලක් දාගෙන බුරු රැවුලක් දාගෙන. දැන් අමාවි තවදුරටත් මම ඩෙටර් කෙනෙක් විදිහට තියාගෙන වැඩක් තියනවද නෑ? දෙන්නේ නෑ කියලා මම දන්නවා. right? So we call it as debtors being bad debt. debtors ලා එක්කෝ මොනා හරි වෙන එක්කෝ මැරෙනවා එක්කෝ රට යනවා එක්කෝ පැනලා යනවා පිස්සු හැදෙනවා මං කිරියද මොනා හරි වුණාම so debtors are not paying back. It is an event. Understood? Okay. Selling stocks on credit basis, it is a transaction. But debtors being bad stocks credit basis අරන් නැහැ කවුද කියන නම් debtors. හැබැයි debtor මොනා හරි වෙලා සල්ලි ගෙවන්නේ නැහැ කියලා අපි දැනගත්තොත් එයාව bad debts විදියට අයින් කරන එක is a transaction. Because we are removing it, debtor is not giving anything. Understood? Easy clear you guys? Right? That is an event to the business. So likewise you can identify, listen to this carefully. When a business carried out its transaction, it required to exchange resources with various parties. For an example, when a business purchase goods on cash basis, the cash and goods are exchanged between the business and the supplier. Accordingly, a transaction can be identified as exchange of resources between the business and other parties. In a business, there can be various types of transactions. Among those transactions, the transaction with either value can be measured in terms of money are considered as accounting. For an example, sale of goods on 100,000, so it is a transaction. Okay, monthly salary payment of 50,000, it is a transaction. Which means what? We are giving salary to employee giving their sacrification to the business. Understand? Their service to the business. It is a transaction. Obtain a bank loan. Bank gives money to the business, resource exchange, and we are liable to pay back. Okay? Electricity payment. Ceylon electricity board electricity දෙනවා අපි මොනවද දෙන්නේ? සල්ලි දෙනවා. It is a transaction. In addition, exchange of resource mentioned above, some events that had occurred in a business are also considered as accounting. What is the term called events? No any resource exchange, but the business accounting element change. For an example, damage of stocks. Then stocks means asset of the business. Listen to this carefully. Stocks belongs to the business. Understand? It is an asset of the business. Stock asset decrease. Damage වුණාම stock asset එක decrease වෙනවා. මං කිරිය තේරෙනවද නම්? right? හැබැයි මොකක් හරි exchange එකක් වෙනවා? no. So but accounting element change, asset decrease, but no any resource exchange. Is it clear to you guys? Right? Okay. Then a trade receivable that becomes a bad debt, which means debtors being bad debt, it is an event. Selling goods on credit basis, it is a transaction. Right? So these events are also considered as transaction in the broader sense in accounting. Most of the transactions that occurred in a business are associated with purchase and sales of goods and providing services. Such transaction could be made either on cash basis or credit basis. Now this transaction can happen in cash basis or credit basis. For example, cash basis. Settling the value at the point of the transaction. වෙන වෙලාවෙම එක්ක සල්ලි දෙනවා හරි සල්ලි ගන්නවා හරි business. But when it comes to credit basis, transaction happen in a separate date, settlement rate happens in another day. Understood? Right? So that is the term of credit basis. හැබැයි ඔයගොල්ලන් ගෙවලන් කඩේ ලොකුට බෝඩ් එකක් ගහලා තියෙනවනේ ණයට ඉල්ලාම නාපනවා ගහලා තියෙනවනේ. right? ඒ වගේ ගහලා තියෙනවනේ සමහරේ. If the value of the
ප්‍රයිසස් වල බෝඩ්ස් වල වැඩිය තියෙන්නේ ඒක හැම තැනම තියෙනවා ඒක.
ගොඩක් තැන්
Sir, especially in the hospital, sir.
hospitals
Hospital එකේ තියෙන daily shop එක නේද? අපේ
එක එක තැන් වල එහෙම තියෙනවා. ණයට ඉල්ලාම නාපනවන නේද? ණයට ඉල්ලා මට කරදර නොකරන්න නේද? ඔබට ණයට නොදෙමි වගේ සමහර එක එකයි බෝඩ් එල්ලගෙන. If the value of which means you can ask which means no any credit basis transaction. Okay, bye bye කියලා එන්න ළඟට ගිහින්. Okay. If the value of the transactions is settled at the point of the transaction, it will be considered as a transaction on cash basis. On the other hand, if the settlement is made later, it will be considered as a transaction on credit basis. Then සාමාන්‍යයෙන් B2B transactions credit basis වෙන්නේ මම කියවනේ business to business. ඒ කියන්නේ සාමාන්‍ය business to business transaction cash basis නෑ අමාරු. මම කියවනේ මංචියක උදාහරණයකට ගන්න. Then purchasing like 2 tons, like 2 tons of like flour. Okay, ඒ ගන්න වෙලාවේ cash basis ගත්තොත් එහෙම bodyguard ලා 10 දෙනෙක් විතර වට කරගෙන නේද? suitcase 10ක් විතර උස්සන් තමයි දෙන්න වෙන්නේ cash basis කරන්න ගියොත්. ඒ වෙලෙම බඩු අරන් අර ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැකලා තියෙනවා අර ෆිල්ම් වල තියෙන පාතාල කේස් වගේ නේද නේ? ඒ වෙලෙම දෙනවා, ඒ වෙලෙම සල්ලි දෙනවා. ඒ වගේ business to business transactions කරන්න බෑ අයියේ. දැන් ටොන් දෙකක විතර බඩු ගත්තාම මුලින්ම බලන්න ඕනේ ගුල්ලෝ ගහලා තියෙන්නේ. චෙක් කරන්න ඕනේ, ක්වොලිටිය චෙක් කරන්න. ඒ වෙලෙම සල්ලි දෙන්නේ නැහැ නේ. සාමාන්‍ය ටික කාලයක් යනවා. payment එක process කරලා check එකක් දෙන්නේ. We are not paying from cash. We are paying through check. Understood? It takes time to get the signatures and giving checks. Understand? Because of most of the time business to business transactions happens on credit base. Understand? Right? So, but business to customer, it's the cash base. Then what is supermarket again? Night badu arang in a so likewise. Okay, quickly write this one. And raise your hand. So once you finish, raise your hand. Okay. Danish, Afla, Nisha, Renu. Once you finish, raise your hand. Commonly we consider transaction and events as what? Transaction, right? So let's go down. Okay. Transactions means resources exchange between the business and a stakeholder. Also, accounting elements change. Elements means asset, equity, liability, income, and expense. Change means increase or decrease. Or decrease. Right? For an example, you can write owner invested rupees 300,000 to the business, right? So what business get? Cash. What owner get? Ownership, right? So then you can write purchasing stocks on credit basis, rupees 30,000. So on credit basis means what? From creditors. Stocks are selling stocks on credit basis, rupees 10,000, which means selling to who? Debtors. Okay. Then selling stocks on cash basis. Cash basis නම් debtor creditor කියලා නෑ. එවෙලෙම සල්ලි දීලා එවෙලෙම බඩු ගන්නවනේ අපිට උගේ නම වැඩක් නෑ. මම කියලා දෙන්න. Selling stocks on cash basis. But if it is a credit basis transaction, we need to know the name of other, right? Right. So we can, another one please, last one. Paying water bill, rupees 1,000. Done, right? Okay. Have you finished, guys? Still writing, anyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, once you finish, raise your hand. So events means an incident happens in the business. Okay. Right. Okay, done. Then events.
Yes, sir.
Events. An incident happens in the business. Okay, which means not changing changing resources between the business and stakeholders. Right. Also, accounting elements. Similar like this, accounting element change, right? Accounting element, accounting element, which means increase or decrease. Increase or decrease. For an example, you can write debtors writing off as bad debts, rupees 1000. Okay. So stock damage, for stock theft, rupees 5000. Okay. Cash theft, rupees 3000. Depreciation, I'll tell you. Depreciation. What is the term called depreciation? Very much important. In grade 11, depreciation. What is the term called depreciation? Yeah, depreciation in non-current assets. ජීවිත සියලු දේ අනිත්‍යයිනේ නේද? භාවිතා කරන අගය අඩු වෙනවා. දැන් කම්පැනි එක තියෙන වාහනයක් ගද්දි 500,000 නම් තිබ්බේ. අද වෙද්දි 500,000 ම කියලා අපිට අඳුර ගන්න බෑ මාකට් වැලියු එක වැඩි අඩු වෙන්නේ නැහැ. use කරන්න වැලියු එක අඩු වෙනවනේ. That is the term called what? Depreciation. Okay. So it is in grade 11. Enough. And write more. This is enough.
සර් අතන 3000 නේද?
Yeah, 3,000. Sorry?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes?
Sir, can I just raise it a little bit up for the transactions other part because I was like writing out.
Okay, I'll show it. Once first finish this part, then I'll show you. Keep space to write this one. Keep space to write this part.
Please, I'll just take a screenshot. Right.
Okay. Done? Fine? Okay, I'm scrolling down.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Right? Then finish this part and raise your hand. So once you finish, please raise your hand. To finish, please raise your hand. So then there are more like accrued expense, payable expense. It's grade 11. No need at this moment. So just remember this depreciation part. Okay. So depreciation means value of the non-current asset decreases. Okay. Because of what? Usage. There is another thing called revaluation. Now nowadays revaluation is much high. You know, nowadays because of import restrictions, now the existing values of the vehicles going up. Okay. So this is the term called what? Revaluation. But in O levels we don't discuss about revaluation. We discuss only about depreciation, assuming that value of the non-current asset, the market value not changing. If the market value goes up, it is the revaluation. But in here we just discuss the value of decrease. භාවිතා කරන මොකද වෙන්නේ අගය අඩු වෙනවා. නේද? ඉස්සර හිටිය ඔයා අද ඉන්නේ නැහැ නේද? use කරන අගය මොකද වෙන්නේ? අඩු වෙනවා. ඉස්සර හිටිය ඔයා නෙමෙයි ඉන්නේ. නෑ ඒක වෙනයි මේක වෙනයි නේ. සිරු මං ඉස්සර හිටිය ඔයා නෙමෙයි මම මේ කියන්නේ. කාලෙත් එක්ක දේවල් වෙනස් වෙනවා නේ. ඔයා ඉස්සර කලිසමේ චූදාගන්න කාලේ හිටියේ. දැන් එහෙම නැහැ නේද? දැන් වෙනස්. right. okay. right. ඉස්සර මේ යාළුවෙක් මොනවා හරි කියන්න ගියා මේ කියන. right. මොකද්ද කියන්නේ? කොහොම මම දැන් යාළුවා කලිසමේ චූදාගන්න කාලේ නම් තමයි. okay. right. So others, Avindya, Manta, Tuan, Ilna, Jenut. Once you finish, raise your hand. Tuan, have you finished? Dilna,
Oh, no, sir.
Tenu,
It's okay.
done, right? Okay. So I'll write the other part. I mean, transaction and events, the cash basis and credit basis next part, next day. And next day is very much important to you since I'm starting the assets liability, equity income and expenses. Next week I'm finishing asset liability and try to finish equity as well. Here. So these things are very much important. What is the term called assets, liability and equity? Understood? So this is enough for today. Let's meet on this Wednesday in paper revision class. I'm going to discuss your first term test again. Then we can move to the paper for book next week onwards. Right? Okay. Thank you for the participation. Let's meet on this Wednesday. I'll tell you sometimes I will conduct your class or not. I'll update the group because it's May 1st. Understand? So it depends. I'll discuss with the institute and let you know. Keep in touch with the group. Okay. Thank you. Good night. Good sir and go.
Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you, sir.